Hello there everyone and welcome to Corey Loses for a brand new preview playthrough in Fall of the Republic version 1.2. So this is our first preview playthrough in either of the mods or any of the four mods for the point 2 development cycle. So we are going to be playing as the Galactic Republic starting in Era 3 on the small map. We're going to stay with the small map just in case there's anything that's going wrong. We'll keep it as contained as possible, because everything you're going to be seeing here is, of course, very work in progress. I assume there will be some major problem at some point, but a lot of these playthroughs just kind of give you guys an idea of what's going into the mods and show you how it all works now, because there are a lot of things that have been done and added that have pretty significantly changed some of the gameplay even this far. We're going to have some Thrawn's Revenge playthroughs coming up pretty soon, but even though we still do have the CIS playthrough going on, I figured it'd be a good place to start with Fall of the Republic. So let's get into it. I'm going to go on to Admiral, and in we go. So one of the other things that I do with these preview playthroughs for the channel is I give people who are patrons of Corey Loses, channel members here on YouTube, or Twitch subscribers over on the Twitch channel, the ability to name ships for the playthrough. So you'll see we have a fleet of them here. Stuff like Vestal, Regina Fun, or Regina Fun, Democratic Warlord Star, Devastator. So these are just ships that are there for the playthroughs as a way for me to thank the people who make it possible for me to have content creation as my full-time job. If you'd like to get a ship into this playthrough or a future playthrough, there's a link in the description with all of the details for that. So check that out if you would like to support the channel or just want to see a funny named ship get blown up by me. But there is a ton of stuff to look at. So first off, you'll notice the Republic UI has been updated. But let's start off with a battle. The galaxy's at war, Commander, says Palpatine. Dooku's pathetic separatists gain more and more foothold through. It's a terrible Palpatine impression. It's not even right for the chant. Whatever. Scientists are working on new tech to battle this, etc. So yeah, let's just forget that happened. But I would like to take Rendili. So let's take Yularen's forces here, and we'll take a look at our command staff maybe after that battle, see who we want to get. Or if we want to switch anyone. I don't think we do want to switch anyone. Maybe I'll do it for Tarkin, because, yeah, screw Tarkin. Yeah, we're going to get rid of Tarkin after this. So we will pop them over there, and what's the pop cap on this fleet? For Palpatine. You know what? I'm just going to do it anyway.
Indeed.
You guys, get over there. Nope, not the fleet I meant to zoom in on. But we do have a few new units that we're going to be playing with. So let's build a UTAT, which is one of two New Republic units that are in right now. I think we have... No, the HAET I think is in as well, which is one of the air speeders. So there's 3 New Republic units that we'll probably be able to see over the course of this playthrough. I think the HAET is in. And there's also a few CIS units that are in, like the PAC, the MAF, which is the non-HMP flying unit from Battlefront, the original Battlefront, and a few other things. But yeah, let's start off with attacking on Rendili here. We are on Cruel. I tried to turn the Cruel AI on as quickly as possible, because that'll mean that the what are they called? The static fleets, which are fleets on some of the AI planets, so that they stay in one place. If you turn Cruel AI on later, those fleets get added to the AI's pool of usable units on the galactic level, and it means they're going to be attacking with them rather than keeping them in place. I'd like to have some way to counteract that, but it's kind of a limitation with the AW. But let me just make sure that I loaded these in properly. Order 66. Make sure I put them in the ship library to actually get fighters out of them. And I don't think I did. Oh, no, I did. Cool. Because I tried recording this already, and I hadn't. So I have to restart.
Reinforcements canceled.
I could just press escape for that, but I don't like hotkeys. Poorly acclimated. We've got Gideon's Cruiser from the Mandalorian, question mark. Outrider.
Understood, we're moving out.
Let's get the 3 Venators. Lauren in the back.
Cruising speed.
Get Coburn. And we'll get our regular Act 1s.
Engaging drive thrusters.
We've got... Try to find the named ones. Small space triangle.
Yes,
So I did mess up when I was setting up the tiers for this campaign.
Copy.
I put like the Venators and Victories 1 tier above where they're supposed to be, and the Invincibles probably should have been the 1 tier up with some other small changes because I'd forgotten how my own tiers worked. So that's my mistake, but we'll stick with it for this playthrough, and then I'll be more careful next time. So apologies to everyone for that. Maybe I could put up like the original failed battle, because especially without the fighters, I fared pretty terribly. Before I realized I needed to restart, because I can't just continue on with the script edits for the scripts that spawn the fighters. I like lost everything. Maybe I could like upload that to like Patreon or something as extra content. Yeah, so there have been some significant changes to how bombers work. We did a standalone video on that, but you'll notice them doing a lot more upfront damage. So they have 2 types of projectiles. There's these proton rockets, which are longer range, less damaging, still pretty decent. Then if they get in close, they have proton bombs that they're able to throw off there, which do a lot of damage. But there have been additionally some changes to anti-fighter ships. You'll see some diamonds coming in. So you'll probably see from them, and maybe even from Peltas, that there is pretty universal use of the point defense ability. So while physical munitions do a lot of damage, especially in area of effect, let's make sure I'm actually recording. Okay, thank God I am. There are pretty clear ways to counter that. So there have always been a lot of strengths and weaknesses to different projectile types and everything, but very little that was clearly visible in game that made it obvious like what you're supposed to do in any given place. So one of the things we've been trying to do with these projectile reworks is have the visual clarity beyond just like the armor and damage matrices of like what's good against what. So there's some additional secondary abilities that come with the projectiles, and it's a bit more noticeable for players. But we've got these guys a little bit more set up. Let's start going in. We do have to be careful of the diamonds, because they will stop our own bombs as well. Let's get them all out there. We're going to get them to start on the Lucre Hulk. And Arc 170s, as fighter bombers, not dedicated bombers, still have the proton torpedoes, which haven't been changed. So that is basically supplemental fighter damage towards capital ships. It really just helps factions that are supposed to be a bit more fighter focused in their damage, like the Republic and New Republic. Gives them some extra options compared to factions that have kind of like the cheaper fighters that are more intended just for either dogfighting or interception and that kind of thing. So we're going to try to protect our bombers with that. And Torrents, you guys can clear that out. Actually, you know what? I'm going to send the Torrents in, and we're going to get this Ada there. Alright. You go for that. You've actually taken a lot of shield damage already, so we don't want that being too front. Bombers in there. You guys make sure you protect them. Alright, now pull off the back, and I'm gonna get our Venators to go in. Alright. If these diamonds were farther up, it'd be A lot easier for them to stop our bombers. But that'll be something that we tune over the next little while, as some changes to targeting priority sets and how the AI wants to use certain classes of ships. In the last episode of the CIS campaign, I did some overviews of how like the ship class system works in EAW, like the category masks and what they do. So if you've watched that, I spoke about kind of like that's what tells the AI how to use their ships, how to target with their ships, where to put their ships. So stuff that are marked as carriers in Thrawn's Revenge, we tell them to sit them pretty far back. All that kind of information. Alright, we should start taking out some of their other non-Lucre Hulk things. And Yularen, you're going to be close enough to actually go in on that. Oh, you just saw probably one of the Alta's point defense. So we're going to be making a bit more use of our point defense. Got to get a bit further into range. Over. Alright. Harder weapons, take out that recusant. You go on that. You go over there. And bombers, so there are accuracy values on the bombs that have been adjusted, so we've made them a lot less accurate than they were against smaller units. So if you are using a lot of bombers, you're going to do well against capital ships, but you're going to do significantly less well against groups of smaller frigates. Because a lot will just miss. They do have... let's make sure you stay in with Yularen. You'll heal them. You can see some of the little green lancing out for the point defense ability occasionally there. But yeah, so they do area of effect damage, so they can still get some damage off that way in a group of frigates, or a group of corvettes, but it's far less reliable than trying to take down corvettes and frigates with capital ships and stuff. And like that's always kind of been how it worked, but it was more in the... It was less pronounced and it was more in the armor and damage matrix, rather than in stuff that's a bit more visually clear. So like there were always those accuracy values, there were always the different projectile strengths and weaknesses based on the armor and damage modifier types, but we were looking primarily for visual ways to express that with a lot of these changes. Okay. And it seems like a lot of EAW players actually don't know about those modifiers, so I guess it does help to talk about them. But it's like, it's something that exists in the base game as well, the accuracy types, based on different category mass, the damage modifiers. That's all always how the game works, it's just the specifics of how you set it up per mod. Right, I need to kill these diamonds. You see they're doing a good amount against our bombers and taking down the damage of our bombers. Like a good group of corvettes will do a lot to mess up your physical munitions. Unless you have like total saturation. Right, take down the diamonds so that the bombers can get their jobs done better. Alright.
Whatever it was they were looking for, it looks like they already found it. Carrying us a missile destroyer, Captain.
Okay, I think we managed to play this relatively well.
We are under attack. Requesting
Focus fire on that target.
No. Yes, General. Blasters charged. I'm taking casualties. Open fire on those lasers. I'm transmitting the coordinates to you now. One shot, one kill. Rocket. Missile destroyer reporting in.
Okay, you move in a little bit.
Bad shape out here.
It's only a goal in one. One of the reasons I wanted to attack relatively early, so we could get Rendili with some pretty minor
Their reinforced stations ready on the com.
opposition. Like, we killed Nuke Gunray, so that's always nice.
Watch your flank. Have lost. Holding position. Shouldn't be long now. The Techno Union. Watch your side.
And
Reinforcements.
got to take down that Husant.
We've lost. Whatever it was they were looking for, it looks like they
Bombers
already
go
found
for that. They're gonna have to run past the diamond.
it. Anchors away.
I don't love. But it depends on where the diamond ultimately goes.
I'm transmitting the coordinates to you.
It's only one diamond, so it's not like the end of the world.
Negative, sir.
But one of the things that I also mentioned in the video where we covered the bomber rework stuff is we were trying to change the complements of a lot of ships so that they'd have kind of more in reserve, less up front, and that it'd be more reliable. Like, there's more clear ways if you want to have a bomber-focused fleet. Like, we have a lot of carriers here. We have five acclimators, rather. We have five Venators, 3 carrier acclimators, which means we're pretty bomber-focused in our damage. But we also wanted to make sure that even in those situations, you have slightly fewer fighters. So in the general average battle, you have slightly fewer fighters, which makes it both a bit easier to make decisions around when you're using them. They're going to be like less of a amorphous cloud, and just it helps with performance. So that was a big focus with what we were doing, and it should be not like the biggest improvement in the world as far as the they're leaving, as far as the lag, but it's a pretty decent one considering the relatively minor impact on game it should have. Like, before, if you wanted to use a lot of bombers, it wasn't really accessible in a lot of ways unless you spam certain ships like Nebulon Bs that only had bombers, and they were like super pop efficient for the bombers. You could do a lot of damage with those, but instead we've tried to shift them towards carriers being half bombers in their complement, and anything that's not a carrier not having access to bombers generally. We did lose Outrider and Vestal there. Very sad, but I think that went well. It went much better than my what do we want to do with our first bits of credits? Well, first, I think we want to send some of these up north. I'm going to try to avoid using too many Juggernauts, A6s. I still want to put a limit on the buildability of A6s. So that you can't end up with too many. I'd also like to build fleet at Moncal. I am able to build the Victories, even though they are... they're not supposed to be buildable yet, the Victory 2s, but just for the patron units. So let's get Ironic there. Mention in Victory. I'll build the Golan one. I was kind of hoping we'd have some of the station reworks in Fall of the Republic, even just shifting the station levels, but we haven't gotten around to doing that yet because we're moving everything up one level. What else do we want to do first? I guess I should just turn that off and let it run. Just want the UTAT. Get going there. Scared the shit out of me. Roche, I could do with Golan. Oh shit! One of the other things that's happened that I haven't explained yet is we've started doing some economic reworks. Every planet will have all of its values redetermined because that hasn't happened yet, but the tax agencies will no longer be limited, which I don't seem to have any right now. I think I might have accidentally... Nope, they're here. But the way it's going to work is tax agencies won't be limited. There'll be a flat or a percent bonus on the credits of the planet, which is how they worked before, but it'll be 100%. And they'll come at the expense of influence. So you can have as many tax agencies as you want. You won't be able to... you won't be able to just spam them without doing some other stuff to make your planets happier. Basically, you're increasing the tax rate on those planets. So some planets will be able to give you a lot of credits, but you got to be careful with where you build them. You can't build them anywhere that you want to use for like influence units or influence rewards without also having to offset that. So you can't just like stack them 10 on a planet. You have a revolt. Which means that your ability to have a larger economy will be there. It'll just be kind of scaled with the other decisions you're making. A lot more than it was. And again, the base income of every planet is going to be reevaluated. So we still want the average income to be around 10,000 for a game that's rolling, with a bit more ability to go above that, but also a possibility to go slightly lower than that, rather if you're doing something wrong beyond just not having all of your structures, which was kind of how it worked. But yeah. I'm gonna sell some of our farms. We don't really need all of our farms right now, all of our resource production. Because they're gonna cost some credits, and we are not using all those resources right now. That'll get us down to 16 and 32. If I can sell one more farm, that wouldn't be the worst. An ag report on Rishi. I'm going to replace with a heavy factory. Testing revealed areas in which our clones may be improved through superior equipment. If you can provide us with the necessary funding on Camino, begin the upgrade process immediately for all future batches. I'm not going to do the Phase 2 research just yet. We're going to be a bit strapped for cash right now. Because I'm playing with, obviously, an economy that doesn't have all the changes in. Because I can't build my... can't build my tax agencies. I'm going to probably try to fix that between episodes. Duoningo is breaking out. Colon 1. Let's see if we can defend anything on this. Because yeah, the goal isn't to have it be like lower than the prior income. It's to have it be roughly the same, but with more decision making that can go into maxing it out a bit more. Or sinking it if you want. But like before, the lowest income you can get is whatever you're getting out of the planets. That part, that base income is actually going to go up a little bit. Because some planets will be making a lot more credits, though some will be making fewer. And then it'll be kind of up to you on where you want to put your actual income and what you're willing to give up for that in certain areas.
Watch your sides. Reinforcements en route. I might be small, but I pack a punch. As you wish, Commander.
We're basically trying to rework a lot of the economic stuff to have a bit more in decision points without making it too complicated.
On the target. Awaiting your orders, sir. Ready for attack orders. Knock it off.
But there will be more information on that when it's
ready to commence. On
it's
my way,
done.
Commander. As you wish, Commander. Awaiting your orders, sir.
All right. There's no way we win this battle with this fleet, but we might be able
Ready for attack orders.
bloody their nose a bit before we get
We're all set here, Commander.
our ships in. Probably not with Duoningo leading them from the front like that. Bulwarks are hurty. We had a goal in 2, maybe. We have a goal in 1. If we had a level 3 shipyard, but we don't. We have a level 2. Heavy frigate. I always refer to them as level 1, 2, 3, and 4, even though like they're
Sir, where do you want us? No, sir.
I guess the game does refer to that, or refer to it as that in some places. Oh, and along with the bomber reworks, the CIS got like a proper bomber in the Belba Lab here, which Bob together pretty quickly. So soulless one will be added as well, but that is the like dedicated good CIS bomber compared to hyenas, which are kind of shit.
Reading you loud and clear.
Shouldn't say shit. They're not good.
Bastard.
Standing by.
One of the things that that is good for though is the kind of saturation bombing that I was talking about. Getting past some of our point defense with that. See, they pretty quickly got through that dreadnought.
Awaiting your orders, sir. Heading for attack coordinates. What's your sign? We need you to clear the area in order to proceed. Ready for attack orders.
Hyenas do have pretty considerable recharge times on their bombs. That's one of the main things that determines the
Cannons charged.
quality of bombers. Because like the damage doesn't change for them mostly. It's more about how quickly can they make their runs.
Heading for attack.
For some bombers there are more munitions, but on average the recharge rate is the more impactful thing. Until you get into stuff like oppressors and A-wing kind of thing.
Ready to commence. We'll crush the scum.
I'm less familiar still with some of the specifics of individual units, so take anything I say with a grain of salt as far as that goes. And a lot of it is obviously still very much in progress, as I mentioned. Like a lot of these changes will get tweaked as we go through the
Enemy reinforcements have arrived. Reinforcements en route.
development cycle. It looks like even in this build, I'm going to have, or in this playthrough, I'm going to have to adjust or finish some of the other economic stuff that didn't go quite as far as I'd intended already.
At your command.
That was just flying in as the battle ended last time. I really want to replace this low orbit texture. I made it in Grand Designer. It ended up being kind of cartoony. It worked okay when it was like the big one-tiled thing, but other than that. If we can wipe this, we might go on to Forost, and then we can take Rendilian Forost
Look, the droids we're looking for.
as soon as that UT-AT is ready.
Choose your reinforcements.
It's gonna be... Well, they don't have any reserves, so let's...
Indeed.
Full throttle. Anchors away.
Fully acclimated.
Run, sir.
I want the bombers again.
There's nothing we can't handle.
Order 66.
Yes, sir. We're on the move.
Commander.
No, sir. Holding position. Missile destroyer reporting in. Striking target. Sir, there's still Techno-Union ships in the area.
Bingo. Get Coburn there as well.
Yes.
Then we want
Moving out.
Delta support. Air 90.
For the
At
Chancellor.
Arquitens. At Delta.
Understood.
Reporting in. Sabotage the separatist vehicle. Whatever it was they were looking for, it looks like they already found it. Enemy reinforcements are on their way.
Alright, they're sending Nua or Dua
Aye.
back farther. So I think it's in our best interest to focus on this side first.
Enemy reinforcements reading you.
So bombers, go for this Providence.
Signal coming through.
And don't go too far towards
But these circumstances
That
call
Looper
for
Hulk.
drastic measures.
Negative, sir. Yes, Admiral. Missile destroyer here. Target at max. Got you on the comm. Battle station. Sir, holding position. They could be trouble. Cannons
there. Stay on that.
Captain here.
Then
Cruiser
I'm
here.
gonna send you farther back. Let's try to kill these as they come.
Pile them.
170s. Go on this.
No, sir. Reading you. Locked on target. Missile destroyer reporting in. Yes, sir. Attacking target. This is the captain. All stations
Alright, we
ready.
got him on this side. A lot of physical munition use.
Clear the area of all.
Let's get our bombers onto...
I need cover fire. Got you on the
Okay.
comm.
You've got the captain. Our Quentin's here.
Stay back there.
Captain here. Nominal status.
Ultimately, our goal with the
Something out.
bomber reworks and carrier reworks is to make them equally as viable as like damage-oriented small as a damage source as everything else was essentially. Like you can build a fleet out of strike cruisers and that kind of small frigate, and it's just as viable as building a fleet full of like capital ships would have been. But before, it was very difficult to get that loadout from your from a carrier fleet. Like
Standing by.
a lot of the times, to get that many bombers, you were also having to get even more capital ships with it just to get the bombers out on the field. Unless you did stuff like the Nebulon Bees, in which case you're still getting a lot of your damage from the
Air cruiser standing by. Yes, sir.
from the Nebulons themselves. So now it should be a lot more clear how you're supposed to move forward if you want to do bomber focuses, if you want to do carrier focuses. Although there will still be some changes to pop cap, because obviously the damage increase from bombers means that the pop has to go up proportionally, but it should all be a lot more equal.
You've got the captain.
Rough shape there. So,
Enemy sighted. Cannot do their job without our protection.
Ultra frigate here.
this time we will want to
Our
interdict him if we can. I don't know. Did our interdictor die? Our Pelta support?
Respond.
I think it did. Yeah, it seems to have.
Whatever it was they were looking for, it looks like they already found it. There's too many of them. Weapons locking on.
Oh wait, no, this is it.
That other ship.
There it is.
I'm taking fire. Negative, sir. I'm taking fire.
Let's send some other stuff over here that can take out the engines,
This is the captain.
and we're gonna send you over.
Got you on the radio channels open.
And the same thing kind of goes with the Corvette changes, where they can very easily shut down bombers and physical munitions now
Their laser cannon.
in any kind of reasonable numbers.
Locked on target. They're everywhere. Nominal status. Yes, sir. Battle station. It's about to blow. This is the captain. Vectoring to the enemy. Missile destroyer here. Cruiser here. I have the target. Got you on the ground. Battle station.
We might be small, but we pack a punch. You've got the captain. Disable their laser cannon.
One shot, one kill. After him.
Over there.
Captain here. Locked on target. Nominal status.
Our Quentin's here. Target their laser cannons.
All right,
Give me a target.
focusing in down their battle carrier. Got all the bombers coming over this way.
Did you mean to choose us?
Oh, no. Objective acquired. Reading you.
Standing by.
You've got company.
All
Target their
right.
laser cannons.
This is the captain. Got you on the comm. Your orders, General. Firing. Captain here.
Out of
We might be
weapon.
small, but we pack a punch. You've got the captain.
Okay, no, he's not getting away.
Their reinforcements are being depleted.
Got the
Vectoring to
engines.
Our
enemy.
Quentin's here.
This is the captain. Battle stations. Locked on target.
Standing
Like
by.
before, what bomber swarms used to be best at was taking down shields on ships, which doesn't feel quite as thematic with how people expect their bombers to work. And the biggest issue with that was just that it was hard to figure out
We might
how many
be
bombers you
safe
would
if
need
we
to
pack a
send
punch.
to get through an individual hardpoint. So by reducing the number of fighters and bombers a little bit, but by making it more clear that like if you send a bomber squad after a hardpoint, they're probably going to take it down in a couple paths, like 1 or 2 passes, depending on how damaged they are.
Understood, we're moving out.
It makes it a bit easier to use them in kind of the way people would assume that they want to use them.
Our acquaintance here. Standing by.
But small space triangle, you're going to help
Fire on that target.
kill off Duoningo.
Prepare for combat. Target their laser cannon.
Well, we got him. Lost the galleon. That's very sad. I don't actually. How is that going? Well, this is clearly a good time to hit Volpter. Send them around this way.
Let's move this bucket.
You're on Coruscant. I want an HV gun.
Building under construction.
We're probably not going to go for Forost. I said we were going to go for Forost, I meant we were going to go for Volpter. We're going to use a different fleet. And I did also say we'd be getting rid of Mr. Tarkin. The Grand Moff. Actually, I'm going to save first. Just in case. I've been trying to get more into the habit of saving more often. Rather than just once per episode. Just to be safer. Slightly safer. Because it's EAW. It's modded EAW. So I'm saying this as the developer of the mod. Do not trust the mod to never crash. Please save your games. Please do it. Save them in different save files. Save it as often as you feel comfortable.
Researching.
But I see so many people be like, oh, I was playing for 5 hours, didn't save.
Construction
Bad times.
complete.
Oh, that is terrible. Please spare yourself the mental anguish.
Research.
Alright. So I'll let you guys pick who we're gonna get for our sector commander. We are going to be able to let me know in the comments, and I will add up the numbers. We are going to get either Marcelin Wessel, Hauser, Grant, Wessex, or we can get Tarkin back, I guess, if you guys pick Tarkin. So, I think they're all in Venators right now. Yeah, Venator. Tarkin is in a Venator for now. I can't remember when he gets upgraded. Hauser's in a Dreadnought, and Wessel's in an Acclimator. So, make that choice.
Construction complete.
We may not be able to get to the assault on Rendili today. We're just going to stick with this attack on Volpter.
The droids we're looking for.
Little lights under the Dreadnought there.
Ready to commence. Choose your reinforcements.
All right. That's not a difficult fleet. Totally tubular.
Plot our course.
Totally tubular. Legacy's private yacht. Down the street. Wasp. Flower power. Supported by Vestal. Oh, that was... okay. Sacrifice me. So I guess I had double Vestals.
Go ahead, sir. They won't know what hit them.
Democratic Warlord Star. Devastator.
The enemy, my liege. We read you. All lights are green. Taking the offensive. Missile destroyer reporting in. Target.
I might have doubled up on some of the ones that I started with. But, oh well.
We have a lock. Got you on the comm. All stations ready. Missile destroyer here. Ready for command. Ready to deliver. Moving into attack position. Missile destroyer reporting in.
Alright, we don't have as many bombers ourselves here.
Standing by. You picked up a drive. Captain here.
Right.
Their reinforcements are nominal status. Ready to deliver. Stand clear. Missile destroyer here.
On that. You guys get over there.
Cruiser here.
And
On target.
try to kill their bombers before they do anything that I'll regret.
Order acknowledged.
Finest ship Republic credits can get you.
Because we are shieldless.
Their reinforcements are being depleted.
Down the street, get up here a little bit more.
Missile destroyer reporting in. Initiating combat protocols. We're all
Bombers.
We should clear the area.
Get us out of here. We can't hold out.
For the muni.
Targeting enemy. Your orders? Main cannons charged. At your command. Heading for attack coordinate. Missile destroyer here. We've got reinforcements. Ready to commence. Targeting at maximum firepower. Reporting in. I don't know how much longer we can hold them.
Alright, I'm gonna send them after. I'm gonna send our bombers over to the shipyard.
Missile destroyer reporting in. All stations ready. I'm out of control. All lights are green. Taking the offensive. Awaiting your orders, sir. Missile destroyer here. Got you on the comm. Take cover. Vectoring to the enemy. Ready for command. Ready for attack orders. Cannons charged. Ready to deliver.
Right.
Moving into attack position.
What?
Missile destroyer reporting in. Battle station.
This one's mine.
Locked on target. All stations ready. I'm out of your orders.
That.
Let's move this bucket.
That.
At your command. Soldier behind you. Don't let all lights are green. Cruiser standing by.
Okay, Carrick's get up a little bit more.
Enemy detected. Ready to commence. My port engines out. My port engines out. We'll crush those scum. Moving to attack. Reading you. Nominal status. Missile destroyer here.
Devastator.
Ready for command. Preparing assault.
Here, take down the stuff that has like the heavier weapons still left.
This is the captain.
Doesn't look like they're actually attacking Devastator anymore.
Don't forget here.
Let's go and get some healing done on that.
Main cannons charged. Your orders? Cruiser ready for combat. Missile destroyer reporting in.
Anyone need repairs?
Awaiting your orders, sir.
And alright,
Heading for attack coordinates.
take that out.
All stations ready.
Taking casualties.
Just have turbo lasers left.
All lights are green. Yes, sir. They're not so tough. Ready for command. Ow.
Try to kill this stuff off.
Ready for takeoff. We need to destroy it. Holding position. Sir, our concentrated fire seems to be having missile destroyer here. Cruiser here. Ready to deliver.
Alright, now we take out those. You guys keep healing each other.
Attack orders.
And go stop that.
Sir, we need you to clear the area of all enemies. We need to destroy it. We should clear the area. Commencing attack on gun tower.
Alright.
Punch through with... Everywhere. We can't let them escape. Your orders? Bail out. Moving into attack position. All lights are green. At your command. Targeting
Or dreadnought.
maximum firepower. Ready for command. Ready to commence.
What's this? This is birds aren't real.
Commander.
Get over there. Oh, farther up.
Awaiting your orders, sir. Your orders?
Street is at risk, but we're gonna try to get the Peltas in range. Or Pelta. Nope, we have two Peltas.
This better be some flanking maneuver.
Ready
Yep.
for command. Preparing assault salvo. No, sir. Watch out.
Get over there so you can help on the actual damage output.
Ready to deliver.
Because you are not going to be able to take that out on your own.
Stand clear. Ready for attack orders.
Ultimate frigate reporting in.
Your orders? All lights are green. At your command.
Pull back.
Reporting in.
These guys have like such little left.
Battle stations. Got you on the comm. Locked on target.
Ultimate frigate respond. Who needs We're losing.
Captain, ready for command. Enemy squads heading towards us. We're going to need you to hold them off. Main cannons charged.
Get us out of here. We can't hold out.
Alright.
Beta squadron reporting in.
Back.
Ready to
Rip.
deliver. Your orders? Not sure how much longer we can hold them off. This is the captain. All lights are green.
Another one on my 6.
Go up
Plot our course.
so you can actually get more damage off.
Got you on the comm. Ready for command. Captain here.
You got the commander.
You up.
Filter free here.
This is no longer going to be
Oh,
as
God.
simple.
Focus on the turbo lasers.
Safety check.
Go around there.
Destroyer here. Sir, only one shot, one kill. They're not so tough.
That interceptor.
Taking the offensive. Where are we headed? Prepare for jump to hyperspace.
Rip Coruscant fleet. No! It was not well played by me. It was in fact terribly played. But that is, I think, that is going to do it for this episode. Yularen's going to come and make them pay. Then we're going to take Rendili and Vulpter next episode with the forces we've been building. Kuat, we'll have some Jedi fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this first episode. Hope you're looking forward to the in-progress 1.2 preview playthrough as we go through here. Warts and all. But thanks for watching, everyone. Subscribe for more if you haven't already. Or if you want to. If you don't want to, then don't. But hope to see you next time. Bye.